After more than a decade of lifting, these are 5 things that I wish I knew sooner. Number 1, more is not better. Better is better. You don't need to cram as many exercises in as possible. And in fact, if that's what you're trying to do, you're probably hindering your progress and not helping it. This is a mistake that I made when I first started. I would go to the gym, pick a muscle group for the day, shoulders, for example, and I wouldn't have a plan, but I would try to do as many exercises as possible, as many things that I could think of, and I would add in also a ton of drop sets, supersets, these intensifiers without rest, just burning myself out. This is a really ineffective and inefficient way to train. What you should be doing is picking a couple of exercises that you can focus on over a longer period of time. So let's say 6 to 10 weeks. And you want to focus on getting stronger in those movements over that time period. Take your rest, make sure you're recovered before you head into the next set. And that way you're able to maximize your effort and really get those results. It's quality over quantity. Number 2, you can't outtrain a bad diet. Now, there's really a ton of things that I could say on this point, but let's focus on 2 for today. Number 1 is don't fall into the trap of thinking that just because you've worked out, you've done something active, you've gone to the gym, that this gives you the freedom to be able to eat whatever you want. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. Calories are way easier to overconsume than they are to burn off. Let's take a crumble cookie, for example. It's around 750 calories. To burn that amount of calories, I would have to jog for approximately 90 minutes straight. That's a lot of cardio. So you just can't burn off what you're eating. So be mindful of those choices. And depending on your goal, you might even want to track your calorie intake and calorie burn. The second point is that carbs are not the enemy. I've tried all types of diets, all the fads, the keto diets, the carnivore diets. Really focus on finding a balanced diet that works for you because carbs fuel performance, they fuel recovery, and they give you that energy to perform. So, in fact, if I am trying to lean out a little bit, if I am in a fat loss phase, I prefer to drop fats a little bit and try to keep those carbs a bit higher just so I have that extra energy to perform in my workouts and get through my day. Number 3, soreness does not equal progress. Just because you're sore after a workout, this doesn't mean that your workout was effective or that it's going to build muscle for you. Muscle confusion is one of the things that will cause you to be sore, but this is not what you want to build muscle. So if you haven't done Bulgarian split squats, for example, in a couple of months, and then you add those back into your program, you will be sore that first week or maybe those first 2 weeks. But you want to avoid switching up your program all the time because, as I said, it's that progressive overload that's what's going to bring the results. So pick some movements and stick with them for 6 to 10 weeks, focusing on adding weight or adding reps every single week if you can. And that way you know that you're progressing. And if you're getting stronger, that is a good indicator that you could be building muscle. Number 4, stick to the basics. Squat, hinge, push, pull. These are the 4 movement patterns that you want to focus on, really sticking with those basic movements and not getting fancy. Those influencer circus tricks that you're seeing, whether it's someone standing on a Bosu ball for balance or doing some kind of crazy, cool looking movement, that's not what builds muscle. Unless you have a very specific training goal, for example, you're training balance for surf, something like that, okay, that might be a time when you can add in some of these fancier movements. But for muscle building, stick to the basics: squatting, leg press, lunges, shoulder press, pull ups, rows. The basics are what work. And finally, number 5, train muscles more than once a week. Aim to train muscles 2 to 3 times a week, depending on what you're trying to prioritize. There have been numerous studies showing that training a muscle twice a week will bring you way more results than training that muscle just once a week. So rather than trying to cram all of that volume into one day, try to spread it over 2 or 3 sessions. So this will depend on how many days you want to be in the gym. If you only want to be in the gym 3 days, for example, a full body split could work really well. Personally, I prefer an upper lower split, which will allow me to be in the gym 4 to 5 days a week. So I could do upper lower, or 3 days lower body and 2 days upper body. And make sure you're getting those rest days as well. Just because you want to train with more frequency doesn't mean you can skip those important rest days. So try to limit training to between 3 to 5 days a week. Which one of these do you wish you had known sooner? Drop a comment and let me know if any of these resonated with you.